virtually live 50. Can you believe it? Season 5, episode 5. And today, red poles. We are looking for a snowy owl on our way to the Welcome Center because we have boiler issues. Yeah, great. And it's about 9 below zero. But yeah, there's been a bunch of great grays and a couple snowy owls reported. So we're gonna see if we can find them. And I'm gonna share with you the results of our crazy fun BRRRRdathon, World's Coldest Birdathon, happened January 3rd and 4th. Yeah, so let's get into it. Here's the highlights from the BRRRRdathon, World's Coldest Birdathon. Please join us next year. That gives you time to get your long underwear and sorrels and mucklucks all lined up. The first day of the BRRRRdathon, World's Coldest Birdathon, and it's living up to its name this time. -1, and it's just gonna get colder. I'm not sure it's gonna be above zero for the whole 2 days. I'm gonna get back in the car. Get my coat on. I'm hunting for a great gray owl and a hawk owl in Aitkin County, Minnesota. The playing field for the Birdathon is not just the Sax-Zim Bog, even though it's raising money for the Sax-Zim Bog. It's actually all over northeast Minnesota and northwest Wisconsin. Sax-Zim Bog. Just saw great gray sitting on a fence post. Okay, gotta turn around. Not even to my sight yet. And try not to go in the ditch here. The road's pretty narrow. Okay, hold on. I gotta put the phone down. Unfortunately, he's within this fenced-in area on private property, and I can't get close enough to the fence to shoot through it. But just cool watching him hunt. It would have been a pretty darn cool photo if he would have been on one of these little spruces and backlit. But yeah, I can't get close enough to shoot through the fence. Let's go look for that hawk owl. Timber wolf tracks. Looks like a pack went down the road here. At least 3. Stopped and talked to some other birders along the road, tried to get some intel. There's another one west of McGregor, but I think I'll give it another shot here, another half hour or hour. And there she was, teed up in the very tip top of a snag like they do, searching for a big fat juicy meadow vole. The wind would kind of buffeting her, but cold wind doesn't faze them at all. They got a nice rough leg up here. And despite their big size, they have small feet, small bill. They eat meadow voles here. You don't think of signs of spring on a below zero January day, but these ravens are already kind of doing some of their courtship flights. They are early nesters. It's dusk at the airport in Superior, Wisconsin. It's not that far from my house. Looking for snowy owl. But even with extensive scanning, couldn't turn one up. I'd had one on the Menards sign across the road a few days ago. All right, on to day 2. Got some gas here and Get some breakfast and lunch. Arg, the windshield cleaning fluid is frozen. So cold, this frozen, and that one is completely frozen. Gotta get my nourishment and get some gas. Okay, I got some breakfast and lunch. All right, off we go. Minus 15, perfect weather for a birdathon, that is. I don't really know if I should be driving on this road. Big old moose tracks, like we're getting some good boreal chickadee habitat. If I get stuck, somebody will be along in the next few weeks to get me out. I shouldn't have come down this road. Okay, this was kind of stupid. If I meet anybody on this road, I don't know how we're gonna get around each other without shoveling for a half hour. And still someone might get stuck. Whew, made it. And I decided to kind of try and combine two birding events here. I was going to help Steve Wilson with a little remote corner of his Isabella Christmas bird count. Yeah, well, you'll see what happens. First, I cruised through this greenwood burn from a few years ago and tried to call in some black-backed woodpeckers. Blackbacks often flood into recently burned areas, and this was burned, well, not so recently anymore, but Kim Risen had like 8 of them in this area a few days ago. And it was so cold that you could hear the internal cells of the trees popping. To get to my part of the Christmas bird count circle, I'd have to bike in about 2 miles, and then it was about 2 miles of road in the circle. Oh, gadzooks. What am I doing? Still 12 below zero. Got to be a 25, 30 degree below zero wind chill. I'm going to bike down this road. Got 2 miles to go to get in the circle even. Isabella Christmas bird count circle. I gotta put my gloves on. Oh, I think it's a little much. Wind is blowing right in my face, so minus 30, and the birds are really quiet. I can't even see. Birdathon. Red poles, they seem to be thriving today. That's about it. Sometimes it's okay to admit failure. The older I get, the smarter I get. No, I don't know. The wimpier I get. I had like 5 red poles. I already had red poles for the birdathon, and I wasn't in the count circle for Isabella, so. But yeah, I think I'm gonna warm up, go down the North Shore. It's probably 5 degrees warmer down there. See if I can find any ducks. I pulled up and there was a little bufflehead right offshore in the Silver Bay Marina here on Lake Superior. They are 5 points because they're a duck that usually doesn't stick around for the winter, but one has been at this marina a few of the last 5 years. I'm trying to get a little closer to this Bufflehead. She's pretty tolerant. Just kind of sneaking along the rocks here. Get a little video for you. I think it's the first bird of the day that I've been able to get video of, and it's almost 11. It's actually 1 degree above zero down here by Lake Superior, and very little, if no, snow. So I think I'll stick to the North Shore this afternoon. Left the marina and headed down the North Shore, and kind of had to slam on the brakes when I saw this raptor on a wire. They are very rare in winter outside of the Duluth Harbor or other urban areas. While I was standing here freezing watching these one-point birds, a birder, and I can't remember his name, said to me, "Oh, did you just come in here from seeing the Boreal Owl?" And I was like, what? I'm almost always the last person to know anything. But he said, "Oh yeah, just right up the hill here by Betty's Pies." And okay, that's where I headed. Yeah, not the same, but lounging with a Boreal Owl. Keeps looking like he's gonna pounce, but he's definitely actively listening and hunting, which means he's hungry. Everybody's staying back. And this was the start of the 24-25 eruption. We kind of knew it was coming because they had banded a couple hundred boreals from Michigan to Duluth, Minnesota this fall. Well, now they must be getting a little hungry and they're coming out to hunt in the daytime because they are nocturnal hunters. So we need to remember that. Just give them space, let them hunt, because when they're hunting in the daytime, they are hungry. Now, they don't really care about humans, but you never want to alter their natural behavior when you're out in the field. So, you know, everybody here today was staying back and being quiet. A pirouette.
What's that?
A pirouette.
Yeah.
Good luck, buddy. Hope you find some big, fat, juicy voles. But it was time to move on, and a few minutes later, this happened. Oh my gosh, I just drove past a Boreal Owl. On the North Shore, scenic North Shore Drive, right out in the open. Oh golly, where was it? There he is. There he is. There he is. Oh my gosh. Hold on. You know, people say saw-whet owls are cute, but no way. The Boreal Owl is the absolute most adorable bird in the world. And this little guy, the size of like a Kleenex box, was just busy hunting. He could care less about me. I don't know what those little black teardrop markings are and if they serve any function. But oh boy, he was onto a vole here. Just never did pounce, but it was crazy. Just fun watching him. Now notice that pattern on the back of its head. Those are called false eyes, and it's supposed to kind of shock or warn predators that this bird's looking both ways here, and they have multiple predators. Other owls, bigger owls, will certainly eat boreal owls. So it's just one little trick they have to fend off enemies. Interestingly, the first ever documented nest in the lower 48 was in Minnesota, 1978. Kim Eckert and Terry Savaloya discovered it, wrote it up. Pretty fascinating. But since then, kind of discovered populations all the way in the Rocky Mountains down to New Mexico. So just a very cryptic species since they're normally nocturnal. Whoa, buddy, sliding down this perch there. Okay, you got it? Okay, he's got it. Unfortunately, they haven't been detected much in Minnesota in the breeding season since the 80s, early 90s, and that may have to do with our logging practices these days, where most aspen is not allowed to mature because they nest in cavities, especially aspens, big aspen that are bordering bogs, often in old pileated cavities. Well, woohoo! Just found my own boreal owl, and I was so excited. I was shooting bare-fingered, and it's 7 degrees. But this guy he flew. He was on this stunning little narrow perch, and then I thought I was going to get slow motion video of him pouncing, but then he flew right over my head, literally like 12 inches over my head. It was so cool. And then I backlit him, did some backlighting. Pretty darn cool. All right, we got to get to the compilation dinner. It would be nice to find a snowy owl. Well, the sun is setting, and I'd really like to find one more owl, make a 4 owl species birdathon for me. I've gotten great gray, boreal, and hawk owl, and snowy owl would be great. So I'm at the port terminal in Duluth, Minnesota, and yeah, gonna keep my eyes open. There's usually at least 1 or 2 snowy owls in this industrial part of Duluth. Sometimes they perch out on the ice here too. So let's give it a scan. Woohoo! Snowy owl at the last second. I gotta get to Clyde Ironworks for the compilation, but out in that industrial rail yard, actually it's by UPS. Snowy owl. All right, that makes it a 4 owl birdathon for me. I'm happy. On Saturday night, most of the teams gathered at Clyde Ironworks in Duluth for our compilation. I actually forgot to take any video of that gathering, so this is file footage from last year's gathering. We got to hear all the stories, all the adventures, all the great birds that people found. 70 composite species were found, and you can get more details on our website. The event has really become about traditions and memories and groups doing this together each year. Really impressive this year was in the wintergreen division, non-motorized. Team Walking Dead, pictured here, walked 14.4 miles from the lowest point in Duluth to the highest point in Duluth. And if you know Duluth, that's quite an elevation gain. Quite a feat for a well below zero day. About had a heart attack. Blob in the tree, about 6 feet off the ground. All the boreal owls popping out down by Duluth and Two Harbors. I thought I had a Sax-Zim boreal, but it was a fluffed out ruffed grouse, which is also very cool. This is certainly snowy owl habitat, but no luck so far. Let's keep rolling. Nope, just a 5-gallon bucket. You don't see that very often, a turkey being predated. You know, sometimes it's just, and I'd encourage you to do this, just nice to get out on a remote road where there's little traffic, and especially through a bog, black spruce bog like I am now, and just get out and listen and enjoy the silence. Yeah, there's no birds right here at this spot, but there's not many places in this world where you can enjoy the silence. And then I slammed on the brakes again as this blob was about eye level. Yeah, not a Boreal Owl, just a beer can. I decided to swing by the Welcome Center and check on the feeding station. We have a live webcam now that streams 24/7 on these feeders. Canada jays, yeah, they're there, feeding on the rib cage. Huge thanks to Melissa and Tish of Moving Wild Photography for funding this webcam, and Denny O'Hara for helping us get it cranked up. The link to this YouTube live stream is on the homepage of our website. You can also find it on our Facebook page and group, or just search YouTube for, quote, live Sax-Zim, and you'll find it. And it has been a crazy good year for purple finches. Check out this beautiful male. And a lot of people ask, why are there so many females? The drab females? Well, those are probably half young males and half females because they look alike. Only the adult males have this nice purplish red plumage. Crossbills, white-winged crossbills. They're a specialist on these black spruce cones and tamarack cones. Smaller bill than a red crossbill that specializes on pine trees and pine cones. But the smaller billed white-winged crossbill can get its bill in these small cones, pry apart the scales. They have a very flexible tongue then to reach in and grab the seeds. And we have a bumper crop this year. There's a poor black spruce cone crop further north, and so they've flooded into northern Minnesota. We basically doubled our Christmas bird count record, 40 years of records, and we doubled it this year, almost 1,000. Here we are at the end of Gray Jay Way, half-mile walk, a little icy. It's really a nice place to relax. There's been boreal chickadee here the last few years. I don't think any reported yet, but we're gonna sit here and hang out. I can already see there's a lot of purple finches. Here, red-breasted nuthatch, black-capped chickadees, purple finches, flock of white-winged crossbills across the way. There's a couple Canada jays at the suet a minute ago. This is such a nice place to just sit and see the world go by, or come here. See the world come here. Fox tracks. This is part of the last land deal we accomplished and part of the 1,010 acres. So I'm going to go in and explore some of our quote-unquote new land. I hear woodpeckers, but I think they're hares. But this is perfect habitat, black spruce tamarack bog for a black-backed. Yeah, let's see if we can find one. I'll take this moment while I'm bushwhacking into the bog to remind you that the Tiny Bird Art online auction is happening January 23rd through the 26th. You can get all kinds of info on our website about that. Red squirrels, hairy, downy. I heard I think a brown creeper. This is just one of our parcels of the 25,000 acres you all have helped us purchase and protect. These bogs will be forever homes for not only red squirrels and hairy woodpeckers, but great gray owls and Connecticut warblers. Thank you so much. Fair number of ruffed grouse this evening, this late afternoon. Yeah, they're coming out. They come out when the goshawks go to bed. Not that I can find a goshawk, but we're gonna collect some memory cards from my beaver pond project, a year in the life of a Sax-Zim Bog beaver pond. We've got the assembled clips on different topics on our website under the videos section. Check it out. Wolves, bobcats, otters, beaver. It's a lot darker than it looks on the iPhone. And a very nice local lady said, "Are you a birder? There's a big owl right down the road." And sure enough, a great gray hunting right along the road. And it was in this stand of aspens. And if you overexpose by a stop and a half, maybe 2 stops, it makes this really cool, very pale background. And I was trying to get video too, but of course, when it jumped off its perch to dive, I was always too late. Yeah, I got to get the Canon R5 Mark II, which has pre-record. That would solve that. But yeah, pretty neat. Fun way to end the day. Virtually, there's a ruffed grouse right there. Great way to end the day. Virtually live 50th episode in the books. Superstar bird of the day. Well, superstar bird of the episode, Boreal Owl, no doubt, on the BRRRRdathon. Sax-Zim Bog, bird of the day. Great gray owl. Gotta be. Oh, there's another grouse. Here are my favorite photos from the last 3 days. What a great time knocking around northern Minnesota, looking for birds in the dead of winter at below 0 temps. And 4 species of owls, and not just any owls, all kind of boreal tundra species. So thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next episode. Don't forget about that Tiny Bird Art auction now. All right, take care.